So for some reason I don't have the access code to project it onto here. So, but I did upload it for you guys. If you click on the first word, which is down, there should be a map for you to pull up. Just download the image. And then do you guys see the map of like the England, France area? Yeah? Okay, so what's happening in this story, I'm not going to give away too much, but what's happening is that this is an English fighter pilot who is, this is during World War II, and this is one of the English fighter pilots. He was in England, and he is returning home from battle, and he is, he's making a flight back towards England, which is his home. He lives in Brighton, which would be right along the tip right there for you guys on your maps. And at one point in the very beginning of the story, he does get shot down. And he believes that he is over the English Channel, which would put him back in England. However, we find out later that that might not be the spot where he is. So he does get damaged, he's shot down, he has to evacuate his aircraft, and he's trying to figure out where he is in the story. So if you guys can see, there's France, the Channel, and there's England. That's really important to the story and the setting, because that's kind of like what the story is based off of, is where the story is taking place, because he's confused and he doesn't know where he is. Okay. So does anyone want to volunteer to start reading? Chris, did you say you want to start?
So what do I read to? Just like
We can read up until the very first question. Do you guys see the first question right there? It should be in the third paragraph.
Okay.
Okay.
Down below there was only a vast white undulating sea of cloud. Above there was the sun, and the sun was white like the clouds, because it was never yellow when one looks at it from high in the air. He was still flying the Spitfire. His right hand was on the stick, and he was working the rudder bar with his left leg alone. It was quite easy. The machine was flying well, and he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, just read the up until I'll be there in half an hour.
Everything is fine, he thought. I'm doing all right. I'm doing nicely. I know my way home. I'll be there in half an hour.
Okay, so if you guys click on the first question, there should be the first discussion question. You guys all see that? And then just answer the question. Do you really think everything is going to be okay? If not, how does Dahl foreshadow something bad about to happen? What do you think might end up happening to the narrator? So I'll give you guys like 2 minutes to answer that question. And then yeah, just look up when you're done answering it. So about 10 of you have answered. So we just have a few more people that need to answer, and then we can discuss it. Alright, so so it looks like everyone answered. We only have roughly 3 people that say everything's gonna be okay, so if I could have one volunteer for each side, so it looks like Kaylee, Susie, and actually I think that's it. Okay, so Kaylee and Susie, if either of you want to share your answer as to why you think that everything's gonna be okay.
I just thought that it was at first because everything was going like smoothly, like nothing. I just thought that nothing bad was gonna happen.
Okay, now does anyone think that something bad's gonna happen? Does anyone wanna tell me why they think that?
It was going too well, so something has to happen. Like that's usually how authors foreshadow. If something's going extremely well, usually something bad has to counter it.
Yeah.
I feel like he's kind of like worried and trying to like comfort himself by saying he's gonna be okay.
So maybe,
yeah, like his mind is like restless right now.
so maybe like trying to convince himself that it's
Yeah.
okay and something's going wrong.
I took a project on Roald Dahl and we did grade, I think, and they said that Roald Dahl was known for his twists and weird endings, and so,
But you are right. So I'm gonna tell you that much.
and so, knowing some of his books, some of them have ended happily and some of them didn't, so I don't really know what's going to happen. In my personal opinion, I don't think everything's going to be okay, but,
Raise your hand if you think this is gonna be a happy ending. Solid. You guys are great readers, great foreshadowers. Oh, and then if you guys, yeah, so all of you guys did seem to answer. It seems like a majority of you think that he's more trying to convince himself that everything's gonna be okay. He's trying to trick his mind into thinking it will be okay. So then if you guys wanted to go back to the actual text, and you guys did notice that I highlighted the word Spitfire in the second paragraph, and if you guys click on the word, it brings you to dictionary.com, which should give you the definition, which is a British fighter plane with a single inline engine used to be the RAF throughout World War II. And these would be English planes, so we can tell based on that he is from England, so he is in the Allied powers. If you guys, I don't know when the last time you took history was, but that's like what the US side was on, so it's like the good people. Okay, does anyone want to continue reading? Chris, do you want to continue, or do you want to pass on to someone else? Oh, we have popcorn to cook.
When I land, I shall taxi in and switch off my engine, and I shall say, help me to get out, will you? I shall make my voice sound ordinary and natural, and none of them will take any notice. Then I shall say, someone help me to get out. I can't do it alone because I lost one of my legs. I laugh and think I'm joking, and I shall say, alright, come on, come in. Come and have a look, you unbelieving bastards. Then Yorkie will climb up onto the wings and look inside. You'll probably be sick because of all your blood and the mess. I shall laugh and say, for God's sake, help me out. He glanced down again at his right leg. There's not much of a left.
Alright, and then you can see that I have my second question, which is, what do you think might have happened to his leg? Make an educated guess based on the information about World War II that we just discussed. Because already it seems as though he's talked about it a lot. Even within just this half a page that we've read so far, he's already mentioned it a few times. So if you guys think that that might be a symbol for the story or some foreshadowing as to what's going to happen, you can include that in your answer. You, do you know?
No, she's just.
It's okay, it's not Lizzie. we have just one more person. Alright, so everyone has answered. Does anyone want to provide their opinion as to what they think happened? There's been a lot of different answers so far. Don't always raise your hands at once. Yeah?
I think it's a fighting strategy. Something hit him like from like either apart from playing like shot off and hit his
What clues do you think might have given that away to provide your answer?
I think he got hit by artillery shells because it says in the sentence after the cannon shell had taken him on the thigh, just above the knee.
Yeah, reading ahead of it, but yeah, you're right. Chris?
I'm quite confused as to how, if he did get hit by a cannon, how it got into his plane and not like broken his plane up completely. Like how did it specifically just hit right above the knee on the leg? And there was like no like he didn't mention any holes or anything in his plane, I don't think.
Well, as of right now, he's gonna get into a little bit more of how he's crashing. So we haven't gotten to that part yet, but yeah, when like if something were to hit a plane, it wouldn't just blow up the entire plane, as like contrary like what Hollywood does, where if something hits it, the entire thing would blow up.
It's kind of the car.
Yeah.
Aspect. If you shoot a car, it doesn't blow up.
Right. So that's kind of what happened to his plane. He got shot down. There could have been another plane that was either shooting them with guns or with a cannon, and it did happen to take off his leg. Did you have a question? Okay. So Ben, if you want to pass it up to someone who else reading, or if you want to continue. Here's I'll just like pass you off in like this little corner.
Okay. He glanced down at his right leg. There was not much of it left. The cannon shell had taken him on the thigh just above the knee, and now there was nothing but a great mess and a lot of blood. But there was no pain. When he looked down, he felt as though he were seeing something that did not belong to him. It had nothing to do with him. It was just a mess which happened to be there in the cockpit, something strange and unusual and rather interesting. It was like finding a dead cat on the sofa. He really felt fine, and because he still felt fine, he felt excited and unafraid.
Do you guys see Mrs. Whiting's question there?
Should we answer that question?
Yeah, okay, I was just about to say, so Mrs. Whiting, even though she is out for today because of her son, she has been asking questions along with the subtext. So if you guys want to answer her question as well, I thought it was a good question to ask. It said, the main character feels ultimately giddy and almost confused. In medical terms, what do you think is happening to him?
We don't have the question.
You guys don't have the question?
No.
Refresh it.
Yep, okay. Have you tried refreshing it? Yeah, shut up. I think you have to refresh it. Did you